During the second half of my mining career, it was my goal to leave the mining industry altogether, or if I couldn't leave the mining industry, at least be able to retire early. So I was looking for all opportunities, any sort of rumor or whisper that I heard of, I was investigating any way I could possibly earn more money. Today, we look at my attempt to become an Amazon seller. The path I took to becoming an Amazon seller started with me being an Amazon buyer. It started off with buying books and then just browsing around and seeing different things and filling up my shopping cart, till I got the bright idea of, maybe I can sell some stuff on Amazon. So I started to do my research, and I found people were making pretty good money on Amazon for not much investment. So I thought, this is something I could do. Doesn't seem like there's much work involved in it. It's not like that I had to make the product or do anything really hard or labor intensive, and it would fit into my schedule. I'd bought a course to learn how to set up an Amazon shop and how to find suppliers and all sorts of things. It took me a couple of months to go through that course, and I was pretty confident that I could do this. So the next step was to actually find a product that I could sell, something that wasn't too expensive and what I thought would kind of like fly off the shelf. So after a few months of research, I found the product that I was after. The next step was to find a supplier. Now, finding a supplier isn't as difficult as you may think. You might think that you have no connections, you don't know anybody. But once you're in that Amazon world, it's pretty easy to find what you're looking for. So after finding a supplier and doing the backwards and forwards and actually putting the order in, I had a product and I had my own Amazon shop. Now, first sales were rather slow, but they did pick up, and my first original order was filled, and then it was sold on Amazon. I thought, beauty, this is it. I'm gonna make it. Slowly but surely. The initial sales run didn't net a hell of a lot of profit, but it was a bit of a test just to see how things would work. To make $2,000 profit, I was pretty happy with that. And the good thing about Amazon is they let you know when your stock's starting to run low, so you know when to order again. So once I got that notification that the store was close to being out of stock, I got back in touch with the supplier and we did the deal again. It was just a reorder, the money was sent to them, everything went fine. And this happened 2-3 more times. Nothing was a problem, everything was going well. The stock was selling, some months were better than others, but everything was getting sold, and we kept resupplying with the same supplier, same deal. Everything was just running very smoothly. And over the course of doing this, like I said, 5 times, you kind of build up a bit of a relationship with your supplier. You might not have met face to face, you might not send Christmas cards or anything like that, but you kind of feel like that, you're in business together and you have a relationship. And then when it was time to do another order, and I was speaking to the supplier, he suggested that we do things a little different this time, that we could save a little bit of money and time if we skip certain steps, certain procedures that Amazon insists that you do to protect yourself from being scammed and losing your money. And because of this build-up of a relationship that we'd had for a significant amount of time, and everything had gone so smoothly, it sounded like a good idea. There was no need to have that middleman anymore, no need to have that protection. And if you could get your product a little bit cheaper and a little bit faster, that can only be good for business. So I agreed to his proposal. I then deposited the money directly into his account. Now that was the worst mistake that I could have made, because from that point on, everything turned to shit. And this is where the problems then started. The shipping order was supposed to have taken place by a certain date. It never arrived. I get on the phone send messages, emails, talking to my supplier. What's happened? The delivery hasn't been made. And that's when he started with the excuses. There was a problem with the manufacturer. The plant shut down. There was something happening with the transportation. There was excuse after excuse after excuse for why the product wasn't being shipped, with always having promises of it'll be fixed up, don't worry about it, everything's okay, it's just taking a little bit longer. We had to change manufacturers because this one went out of business, so I had to find another one. And then we had to change shipping companies because this manufacturer only does it with this company. So there was just always all these excuses of it's coming, don't worry, it's coming. And this went on for about 3 months. Meanwhile, my Amazon store is out of stock. I can't be selling anything. I'm not making any money. Plus all my money is tied up. So it's not like that I can actually go and get another product or go to somebody else because I've already paid this dude. Each order had gotten a little bit bigger because I'd just reinvest all the profits straight back into the order to make it bigger. So I was out of money. I had no more money and I wasn't making any money. So things were starting to get a little, not panicky, but you start to get a little bit worried about things. But it's okay because we're still talking. He's still telling me what's happening and he's still giving me reassurances that everything's okay. It's just taking a little bit of time. But then you start to get a bit of pressure from Amazon too because your store has been out of stock for more than 3 months and they don't like that. They start telling me that if I don't restock it soon, that I will lose the store. So the pressure is building here till eventually my supplier stops responding to my emails, stops answering the phone, stops communicating with me altogether. And now he's in China, I'm in Australia, and my store's in the US. So it's quite a triangle of business that's going on here, and I don't have any support at all. There's nobody that I can turn to. I tried to go to Amazon and ask them, what can I do? And they said, did you follow the procedures? Did you put the money through this? Because if you put the money in here where it's protected, well, then we can do something about it. Because you went outside the rules type of thing, like where it's safety and this is why we set it up. So like this can't happen. There's nothing that we can do about it. So what do? You got no one to turn to. Like, it's not like that you're going to go to the Australian government and say, hey, this Chinaman ripped me off 20 grand. Go and do something about it because they got billions of dollars worth of trade for China. So they're not going to worry about my 20 grand that some Chinaman ripped me off with. No point in going to China to see if you can sort this out yourself. Because what are you going to do? I don't even know where in China he actually was. China's a pretty big place. It's not like you can go door knocking. I laugh about it now because it happened years ago and I've written it off and there's no point crying over spilt milk all the time. Whenever I've told this story to people before, they're like, dude, you're just way too trusting. How could you trust anybody? Why would you trust anybody? And it's because of how I live my life. Like, I wouldn't be able to rip anybody off. It's not in my nature. I feel bad for people. I have a lot of empathy because I know that that's somebody else's hard-earned money or, that's something that they love. And I can't be that person that I take that away from somebody else. I just feel really bad for them. And because I live my life of you treat others how you would like to be treated, I'm a pretty trustworthy person. And it has cost me a lot, but it still hasn't changed me. I'm still the same person. I'm still going to, I try and do more homework and stay within the guidelines and stuff like that. But essentially, I am a trustworthy person. I take you for your word. I think there's nothing more important in this world than your word meaning something. If I give you my word is my bond. I believe that it means something. And I believe other people when they give their word. And I believe that that should be this return. But not everybody in this world lives by my set of rules. And that has cost me a lot. On this occasion, my initial investment was $10,000. By the end of it, when I lost it all, it was worth $18,000. But I don't even class the $8,000 because that was kind of like profit. I know technically it is mine, but my initial investment was 10 grand. So I just classed that as a $10,000 loss. And because I'm such an easy come, easy go type of bloke, I was disappointed in it. But at the end of the day, all it meant was that I had to continue doing what I was doing anyway. There was just no early retirement for me on the horizon. I was broke again, but I was still healthy. I still had life. So money comes, money goes.